Hello once again, this is Doc Rotten from Horror News Radio and Gruesome Magazine. Joining me tonight is the one and only Paul Cardullo. He is here to talk about the film Dead Bullet, which he and I caught at the GenreBlast Film Festival here recently. And Paul, sir, how are you doing?
Pretty good. How you doing, Doc?
I'm doing good. Before we get into the review, tell us a little bit about GenreBlast.
Well, GenreBlast is a film festival held in Northern Virginia. This was their second year, and this was the second year you and I attended. And it's kind of a neat film festival in that it covers genre films as a whole. So you have horror films, but there are comedies, and there are crime thrillers, and there are science fiction films, and there are WTF. Goodness knows what these things are. But it all works together really well. And it's kind of neat because a lot of the filmmakers show up. So you really get to rub elbows with them, and a lot of neat Q&As. And there are even a couple really cool panels to attend as well.
Excellent. Well, tell us about the film Dead Bullet from director Erik Reese.
So, Dead Bullet, is one of those ones that falls more in the crime drama category. And, in it, we have a, sort of a gambler, down on his luck guy, Bill, played by John T. Woods, who has come across a duffel bag full of stolen casino chips. So this is out in Vegas, this is out in Nevada, and he's trying to make a deal with these gangsters, primarily Harvey, played by Jose Rosette, and Dirty Dick, played by Ray Trickett. And to basically have them buy the chips so that he can use the money to be less down on his luck. And he also has a relationship with his girlfriend, Cheyenne, played by Andrea Sixtos. And there's a bit of a history there in terms of her brother, Roy, played by Peter Mendoza as well. And basically the deal goes awry, and you have Bill sort of running from, but then also running after these gangsters, and it's sort of almost like an everyman versus these gangsters, but not quite. There's more to the story than it first appears.
Now, it sounds like on the surface there's a cast full of bad guys. Is it difficult to find out who to root for?
Kind of. It's one of those ones where if there's a hero, it's more of an anti-hero. There are definitely some shades of gray, though there are certain bad guys that are more bad than others. But I wouldn't say there are any real angels in the characters. The whole thing actually reminds me, the general feeling I get from it is it feels almost like, do you remember Blood Simple, the Coen brothers' first film? It has that kind of feel to it of me, in terms of you have this sort of someone stumbling into sort of it's almost a neo-noir, not so much the way it's shot, but just sort of the plot, where you have these kind of gray characters. These characters are in gray moral zones, but you kind of root for one over the other, but things don't necessarily go well for anybody.
Now, this is a horror podcast, and we're talking about a drama thriller, a crime drama thriller. Is there elements of this film that a horror fan would appreciate?
Well, I mean, you have some definite moments of tension, and you do have, there's some bloodletting. It is called Dead Bullet after all, but it's going to be more on the crime drama side of things. Though again, there is that sort of, you have the tension sometimes in some of the suspenseful areas of it. It's still worth checking out, even if it's not strictly a horror film. There's still plenty of interest there, and it's really well done.
Is the lead, John T. Woods, is he worth catching the film for?
Oh, yes. Thank you. That's exactly. That's probably he's one of the strongest parts of it, as well as actually the two main gangsters, Jose Rosette and Ray Trickett. Really are some pretty nasty bad guys too. So the three of them, I think their performances, they're really, the film centers on them. And I think that's really something that, helps recommend the film, is their performances.
All right. Well, let us know what your score is, 1 to 5, and your favorite scene.
It's a good 3.75. I really like it. And I would say, my favorite scene, I don't want to give a whole lot away, but there is a sort of a confrontation in a canyon, between these characters that mirrors a confrontation that happens earlier in the film. And it's really kind of clever the way it's done. And it's there's calls out to what happened earlier, but things happen a little differently because there are different people involved. I don't really want to go into too much else because that would kind of spoil it, but that's kind of a really neat scene. But I'd recommend catching this because it's kind of neat. I imagine you might see it showing up on Netflix at some point. It's got that kind of vibe to it.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Paul, for another wonderful review. Let's say goodnight.
Good night, Doc.
Be sure to visit GruesomeMagazine.com to listen to the other Gruesome podcasts, Hard News Radio, and Decades of Horror. Also check out the Gruesome Magazine Quarterly, available in digital and print-on-demand format.